Welcome back. Chapter 5, Section B. Factors influencing changes in supply by shifting in supply curve. Until this moment, we discussed about the price as a most basic factors that changing in that is lead to change in supply quantity. Now, in this video, we will discuss the factors that influence changes in supply and how they cause shift in supply curve. We will explain what leads to an increase or decrease in supply, including changes in production costs, advancement in technology, and so on. Understanding these factors help us analyze how producers react to different economic conditions and how these shifts impact overall market supply. Whether you're preparing for an exam or just interested in the basics of supply, this video will provide a clear overview of supply curve shifts. So let's go on together. The first factor that we want to discuss about that is impact of production costs on supply. By increase or decrease the supply quantity through shift in supply curve. The supply of product is significantly affected by the costs involved in its productions. And this cost including wages, raw materials, energy rents, and machinery, for example. If production costs increase, seller may reduce the amount of the supply. This is because higher costs can lower their profit margins. An increase in costs will typically shift the supply curve in left. So, the cost and the amount of supply have an inverse relationship with together. Whatever the amount of supply cost is increase, the amount of supply quantity is decrease. Because the increase in cost will decrease the amount of profit for the producer. And from the other way, if the cost of production is decreased, the quantity of supply is increased. In fact, there is an indirect or inverse relationship between production cost and supply. Okay, as we discussed it together until this moment, we know that there is an inverse relationship between the amount of production cost and supply quantity. But how we can show this relationship by change in supply curve, shift in supply curve in the supply figure. So let's look at the first scenario. When the production cost is decreased. So we know that there is an inverse relationship between production cost and the amount of supply quantity. So whenever we experience decrease in production cost, the amount of supply quantity is increased as well. We show it in the supply figure by consider the price in Y factor, supply quantity in X factors, and we consider these supply curves as the original supply curve. As the amount of supply quantity is increased, we need to shift the supply curve to right. So supply curve shift to right from the original supply curve to S1. And as you can see, in the same price, the price is not changed. In the same price, in the fixed price, the amount of supply quantity is increased from the Q to Q1. Let's look to the next scenario with together when the supply cost is increased. As we know, there is an inverse relationship between supply cost and supply quantity. So the supply quantity is decreased as well when the supply cost is increased. We need to show this decrease in supply quantity by shift the supply curve, original supply curve to left. So again, we consider the y-axis as a price, and the x-axis as a quantity. And we consider the supply curve with original supply. And we need to show the decrease in the supply quantity by shift the supply curve to left. As you can see in the fixed price, the amount of supply quantity is decreased from the Q to Q1. The next factor that change the amount of supply in the fixed price or shift the supply curve to show the increase and decrease in supply is resources. The supply of goods is also influenced by availability of resources. If there is a scarcity in any factors of production such as land, labor, raw materials, or capital, it becomes challenging for producers to maintain their supply to the market. So, if there is a scarcity in resources, the supply is decreased. And we show this decrease by shift the supply curve to left. New technology appearance. As advancement in technology emerge, so if we have new technology or emerge of new technology, many businesses integrate them into their production process. Typically, newer technology is more efficient than older methods, which can help reduce production costs and motivate farms to increase the quantity of goods they offer for sales. So new technology is reduce the production cost and finally lead to increase the amount of supply quantity. And we show this increase in supply quantity by shift the supply curve to right. The next factor is the amount of impact the indirect tax. Indirect tax are levies applied by government on consumer spending. For example, the value-added tax and excise duties on products like petrol and tobacco. This tax influence supply by affecting production cost. When the indirect tax are increased or introduced, the supply curve shifts to left because the supply experience decrease. Conversely, if this tax are reduced, the supply curve shifts to right because supply experience increase when the tax reduce. Lower costs encourage business to increase their supply to the market. Generally, if tax increase, the supply is decrease and the supply curves shift to left. If tax decrease, the supply quantity increase and supply curves shift to right to show this increase in quantity. The next factors that show increase or decrease in the amount of supply by shifting in supply curves with the condition that price is fixed is government subsidies. Occasionally, the government provides financial support to business through grants known as subsidies. So, subsidies are financial supports to business through grants. These subsidies are often aimed at encouraging the production of specific goods or services. For instance, in Estonia, subsidies have been generously offered to renewable energy producers. When government provides subsidies for products, it effectively boosts in supply. This is because subsidies lower production cost. for farms and leading to an increase in quantity of demanded quantity of supply. Conversely, consequently, the supply curve shift to right. So, in summary, if the amount of government subsidies they increase, the amount of supply is also increase as well. And the supply curve shift to right. In other scenario, if the amount of subsidies is decrease, the amount of supply curves also decrease, and we show this amount of supply quantity decrease by shift the supply curve to left. The next factors that affect the amount of supply by shifting the supply curve to left or right at the fixed price is external shocks. The external shocks are factors outside of the business control or beyond the business control that can influence the supply of products. These external shocks include global events, weather conditions, government actions, and prices of related goods. So global events are major international events can affect supply chain and production capacity. Weather conditions is extreme weather or natural disaster can disrupt the production and supplies. Government actions are policy change or regulation can impact the availability of the resources or alter production process. And finally, prices of related goods are fluctuation in the prices of related goods that can affect the cost and supply of other products. Generally, these external shocks can lead to shift in the supply curve, influencing how much of products is available in the market. Please remember at least two external shocks for exam. So, start from the weather. Weather can significantly impact the supply of agriculture products. So, weather is most important and emphasized for agriculture products. Favorable weather conditions such as adequate rainfall and moderate temperature typically lead to higher crop yields and increased supplies. Conversely, adverse weather conditions naturally such as prolonged droughts or extreme temperature can drastically reduce crop productions and lead to shortage. So, in this condition, if the weather is bad, the supply quantity is decrease, and we show this decrease by shift the supply curve to the left. If the weather is good, the supply quantity is increase, and we show this increase by shift the supply curve to the right. The next element is government economic policies that can influence supply in various ways. For example, if central banks raise interest rates to control inflations, businesses with existing debt may face higher costs. This can affect their ability to supply products to the market, potentially reducing the overall supply. So if interest rate is increased, the amount of supply is decrease, and we show this decrease by shift the demand curve to left. If the external shocks government economic policies is favorable or interest rate is decreased, the amount of supply quantity is increased, and we show is increase in shift the supply curve to the right.